My name is Reverend Kule Joram. I am a priest in the Church of Uganda, South Rwenzori Diocese here in Kasese, Western Uganda. I was born in Mirimbo village, and that's where I grew up with my parents. And at the age of 9, I was abducted by the ADF rebels, but saved by God. One night after supper, we went to hide in the bush where we had constructed a shelter, and every evening after supper we would go and sleep there for the safety of our lives, because we had heard rumors about the ADF terrorizing our village. So we would go after supper and sleep in the bush. So one night rebels came and reached our main house. They opened the house, they didn't find anybody there. So they followed a path from our main house to our pineapple and sugarcane farm somewhere. So they reached there and harvested pineapples and sugarcanes. And probably while they were eating, somehow they discovered a small path alongside the farm, which was leading to our hiding place. And one of them followed it and found us hidden there, sleeping. And while we reached there, our dog, which we had named Simba, bounced to him and he ran back. Fortunately enough, my dad also saw him. My dad tells me he was dressed in white. And so, the moment he ran back, he went and informed the others who were still eating pineapples. And you see, my father also thought of following him. So he woke my elder brothers up so that they could follow that man to see who he was. And before they could do it, of course, they had picked up their pangas and a spear. And so before they could leave to follow him, he had already informed the others and they had engulfed the whole tent where we were. And so one of them started calling out with a loud voice and said, "Please fear not, we are your relatives, take heart." And the moment my dad heard that, he realized we were in danger. And so my brother and my brothers and my father got ready to fight back, to try to defend, to fight and protect our family. So they did fight them using pangas, machetes and a spear, while the other group had guns. And I was in slumber, I was asleep. My mother, my young sister and our last born were all sleeping. So my dad and my brothers labored to fight this group of bandits. They fought them, and the fight was so great that they were able to intercept them. So the noise from the fight actually woke me up. So I got up and moved outside. I didn't know what was going on. I was naked, I was a kid at 9 years of age, and I watched the fight outside there. I didn't know what was going on. I thought probably they were robbers, they were thieves had come to steal pineapples from our farm of sugarcanes. And so I watched the fight. I saw my father and my brothers fighting with pangas, dad holding his spear, but also the other group with guns shooting at them. But fortunately enough, bullets would miss them. I saw bullets missing my dad. So they fought and fought. It was really terrible. It was really hard. I saw how terrible that fight was. It was really horrible. So my brothers and my dad fought till they got tired. They fought so much that even the rebels started hiding themselves. Of course, my brothers would cut trees into pieces and smaller pieces and throw them at the rebels. And so I saw how exhausted they became. I was just watching. I was standing by the door of our small thatched house. We used to call it a fenge those days. And when my brothers got so exhausted, they also started running and hiding in the nearby bushes. And then my dad, I saw my dad was left with only a spear in his hand, and two men were standing in front of him, and what he did, he speared one of them. So when one of them fell down, the other one who remained standing, I saw him touch somewhere around his waist and picked something and then threw it to my dad, and it did burst. I didn't know that it was a grenade. I got to know that later. And so its fragments hit my dad actually in the chest, and my dad came running to the tent, to the tent and said, "I've been shot, and any time I can fall down and die." I saw blood coming out of my daddy's body, blood oozing, gushing out. My dad was actually screaming and crying, and he immediately picked up one of my brothers who was close and ran away, took off. So I remained there, and I saw my mom, my older sister was still in the small house, and they would not even respond to the statement of fighting for our own lives. So I got in, I picked my clothes and put them under the arms, and then I wanted to run also. But you see, one of these men grabbed me. I recall that he was putting on black clothes, and his hands were so rough. So he caught me and then started tying me using a rope, and then immediately I saw them come out from their hiding places and gathered again, and then he pulled me. They went inside the small house, and they tried to light a candle, though it wasn't bright enough. So but I was able to see my mother in a pool of blood. My mother and the sister, and then our last born, I saw them in a pool of blood. We did not know that the rebels had actually shot inside the tent, and that bullet had split my mother's breast into pieces, but also the same bullet hit the skull of our baby brother. Yeah, and my little brother died at spot, and then they tried to step on them so hard. They thought they would wake up, but you see, they had gone into a very deep shock, and they could not even respond to anything. So they pulled me. We went back to our main house. They slaughtered the goats we had there. They destroyed some of the things we had, and then they moved around the entire village, Mirimbo, and looted a lot of things. They broke into many homes, and people were not there. My dad, during the fight, he actually did fight while crying out to our neighbors in the village to hide themselves. He cried out and told people to hide themselves, and made them aware that we had been attacked. And so that's one way many of the village dwellers, our neighbors and the people there, managed to escape. And so they moved around the entire village. They were pulling me like a goat, and they stole a lot of things. They broke into homes, they stole food, they passed by through gardens and they stole food. So many atrocities were committed. And so they also killed several goats from many homes. And we went and moved up, walked up the hill. It is located in my village, and we reached the top of the hill. When we reached there, they tried to prepare some meat, of course from what they store, and they tried to prepare, they cooked, and we did eat. They gave me 2 big pieces, though I wasn't able to eat them. And so I wouldn't eat, of course, because of the shock, Yeah, I didn't know what kind of people I was with and what I had seen also during the attack. I also recalled my dad and my mother in the pool of blood and so on. So of course I didn't have the strength to eat. So we moved very deep in the forest. But before moving deep, the one my dad speared did not die at spot. So he died at the top of that hill. And then we were commanded to be moving forward while the rest of the team remained to bury his remains. And so we moved deep into the forest. We passed through swampy places where actually mud would cover almost all our bodies. But we managed to continue with the journey, and God gave me a heart of courage. I don't know how it came about, but God knows. So in a moment, I managed to start talking to them, somehow even calling their names. I became kind of sharp, and they were also surprised. They gave me a new name, Ismail, because they were Muslims. And so after like 3 days, we reached their main barracks where they had come from. This group that came to our village had come to fetch food, actually, to get food from the gardens of civilians, because they had run short of food at their main barracks. And so they had come to pick food from the gardens of civilians. So when we got there, I saw rebels in tattered clothes, with swollen stomachs and cheeks, and with ribs that could easily crack if told to do so. They were so in an impoverished situation, very hungry. So immediately we reached there. Somehow they welcomed us, and immediately some boys came and undressed me. They asked me to remove the suit which they had given me. They gave me this suit while stealing things from the house in the village, from those houses, and then they asked me to remove it. I gave it to them, and life became so hard up there in the mountains. They asked me, they took me to their doctor. I went to stay with their doctor, and there were so many there. There were also 5 women, but married to those of higher ranks. And also the doctor I was asked to stay with also had a wife. And life was so horrible and miserable at his place. Of course, they lived in groups, and but the doctor lived only with his wife. So I would do all the work there, but they would not give me food. I would make sure I fetch water, collect firewood, I pound cassava, I prepare food, but they would not give me anything. So life was very horrible. I wouldn't eat, and I would get a little food in the evening, but that was on rare cases. When it came to sleeping, I would sleep under a very big tree, just to go to the bush and collect fans and lay them and sleep without anything that would cover my body. So life was very hard there, and it would rain so often in the mountain. I know it still does in the mountains because of so many trees. And every time it rained at night, it would rain on me under the tree. So it was really hard and horrible. Without food, I starved, without clothes, mosquitoes and so on. I was bitten by these mosquitoes. And because of so much hunger in the mountain with these ADF rebels, I devoted to eating grass and shrubs. Yeah, and so whenever it rained, I would go in the rain and cry, so that they would not discover that I was quite stressed, so that they would think I was wet as a result of the rain. And so the suffering was so much there. But after the rain and after the crying, I would feel a bit relieved somehow. So we moved somehow through skulls of dead people. I presume they knew the route, because whenever we reached somewhere, we would rest a bit, and one of them would move and get a hidden gun with rust. Yes, a hidden gun which had rust. So they knew this route, you know. And so somehow, somewhere, we passed through skulls of dead people, and they celebrated. They were happy to reach there, but I was heartbroken. I was so scared, and so life was so hard. And also I experienced threats of being killed any moment. There's a time when they came to me and said, now that we have no more food left, you should be ready. We will kill you and have you for our dinner. And one of them touched me and said, yeah, you have grown up and you have become so fat for meals. So I lived with that fear for some time, and every time I was with them, they would mock me even more. They would tell me that I shall find my parents in hell. And you see, they describe the situation there, how my family behaved when they are attacked, and so on. So it's so much mockery there. And life was really hard. I don't even have words to describe what I experienced there. But this was all as a result of trying to groom me to be a child soldier. And so I underwent all kinds of suffering. They forced me to participate in evil things there, tried to groom me, and probably hardened my heart to the point that I could do anything they asked me to do. And so I didn't have a choice, you know, because they added threats whenever they would tell me, actually, and say, if you do not obey what we say here, then you will follow your parents. And so that broke my heart several times, but I ensured that they would not discover that I was stressed and heartbroken, because that also would put me in danger of being killed. They would suspect me and also think that maybe I would run away from them. So I made sure that was became a hidden, those hidden emotions and feelings, so I wouldn't let them know. So we moved and went deeper into the forest, and we crossed rivers. I remember a time when I nearly drowned, but God saved me. The luggage I was carrying actually drowned, and some of them ran to rescue it, and the other one remained holding me, and somehow I survived that. Otherwise, if you had released me into the waters, then I would, without doubt, die, and no one would find my corpse. But somehow I survived. And so we moved in the forest, and there came a time when they didn't have any more food left, and they also devoted to eating grass. They would not kill wild animals because they considered them unclean because of their religion. They were Muslims, and so they would not eat such animals. And that's why they would not hunt them. Instead, they thought of killing me for their meals. And there came also a time when we were moving. One of them, actually, he used to kill people. He was the one responsible for that job. He would dress in black, and then with a white scarf, with a red scarf, and with knives all around himself. And he used to scare us a lot. Every time he came close, then I would think otherwise.